Hello and welcome to Kleshna's jewellery making channel. I'm very excited to show you today my very special homage to costume drama, which is called my downtown necklace. Get the pun? Now you can have your downtown necklace either in this really glorious grey, this sumptuous looking gold with the beautiful Swarovski iridescent green pearls around it, or alternatively you can have it in marvellous mauve. How'd you like that one, eh? Aren't they beautiful? In all seriousness, they were conceived because, as we know, our favourite costume drama is now going into the 1920s. And it has this kind of 1920s Victoriana flavour to it. Now, taking things on a little step further, I have also made a divine downtown bracelet to go with it. There is the marvellous mauve. Here is the gorgeous gold. And this is the glorious grey here. Aren't they all beautiful? I hope you all enjoy making them as much as I enjoyed designing them. And I think probably now is a good time to go down to my beadboard. So let me take you with me. So here we are at the beadboard, and I'm going to make the motif for my downtown necklace, or my downtown necklace as I have lovingly called it. In the kit that I have created for this, you will get all the ingredients that you need to make the necklace, including this, the bales, the balls, the whole kit and caboodle, apart from the thread and the needles, because as I have said so many times before, if you watch my videos, I like you to have the right sort of thread for the job. And my poison of preference is wildfire thread. And I normally use a number size 12 beading needle. So let's get started. Now this is a very, very easy piece to make, and you're going to love me for it because it is so simple but yet looks so beautiful. So you pick up literally one pearl, one of this I have to tell you is my fave colour. Look at these divine iridescent Swarovski pearls here, which have sort of glow green and gold. So you've got a pearl, a little mini 4mm pearl, another 10mm, a mini one, a pearl, a little one, and a big one, and one more of these. Right, there we go. Now I would go around my finger, but it's a little bit bigger than your average, and then I literally hold it between finger and thumb, folks, and go through the whole lot again in stages. Probably is the best thing to advise you to do. There we go, I pulled that in, then hold it between finger and thumb is the best thing to do. And I would recommend to you that you go around this another couple of times, because it is the pendant, and pearls do have a tendency to be a little bit slippy actually. But we are going to tie a knot, which isn't something I normally would advise, but because sometimes if you're working with very small beads, the knot seems to always be in the aperture that you're wanting to go through. Right, so we're going to do our fantastic surgeon's knot. There we go. I'm going to tie like you would a shoelace, the first loop, and then we're going over once, and we're going through the hole again twice. And then what I sometimes like to do is I will go round once more. Then I'm going to show you a little nifty trick of mine. Oh, hello. Oh, I'm using the wrong needle. Can you believe that? Mind you, if you saw the amount of needles I have on my board here, you would understand why I picked up the wrong needle, because there are rather a lot of them here. you know, when you're demonstrating, you've got lots of little bits which you can't see off screen here, and so I don't have to keep you for longer than I need to. Although it's lovely to have you with me, I have to say. It's rather interesting. Right, okay. I'm going to show you a little nifty trick. Right, can you see my lovely long bit here? Well, I've come through parallel with it, and I'm going to go back through this hole here, and so that I lose my knot, I'm going to pull that through in the same way as you do with a bobbin when you are actually sewing. You know how you have to go through to bring up the bobbin thread. I've gone back through and I've brought the thread through from that one, and then I'm going to tie another little knot here. I'm getting knotted today. Kleshna, that's not very funny at all. Never mind. Right, okay, I think I'm going to chop this off rather than zap it off. There we go, with my beautiful scissors. Oh, I found those at this wonderful patchwork quilt making shop. It was fantastic. I'm going to carry on around with my needle until I bring myself back out at one side of my little 4mm crystal. Now, the others that I've made, you may have noted, are made with 4mm crystals. I just kind of fancied on this one though, so they've got crystals here rather than pearls, but I just love these iridescent pearls so much that I wanted to use them. Right, now the next thing you're going to have to remember to do is to incorporate a brass ball on top and bottom of this little 4-pieced square here. So I'm going to pick up one of the iridescent balls here, one of the gold balls and one of the iridescent balls. I'm going to loop round here, and I'm going to stick the needle straight into my hand, which I have to say I'm fairly inured to doing now. There we go. So I've made a little 4 pattern there, like a little piqué is what I think they call it. Come over here, little pearls, and I'm going to pick up another 3 pearls. Gosh, this is happening very quickly. And then I'm going to go again through the pearl, the big pearl. I'm going to go down to the front here, grab a few more, through here. I'm going to pick up a pearl, because I'm at the opposite side now, a little metal ball, and another pearl. Et voila. Got to teach you French at the same time, eh? God, what a bargain you get on these videos. And I'm going to go through this last one here. And I'm picking up 3 of these pearls here. Now again, like most of my kits, we do have a plethora of colours. So if you are perhaps a mother of the bride, or if you're a bride and you're looking for a specific colour of pearl or something to go with a very special outfit, and you like this design, then please feel free to give us a quick tinkle on the phone on 0208 401 6789, and we will try and accommodate your colour requirement for making this lovely downtown pendant or the downtown bracelet. You know, we're very lucky because I am actually a jeweller by trade. I carry lots and lots and lots of colours of different things here, so I might be able to accommodate you even if it's not something that's already up on our website. Sorry, cut in there, disturb myself, eh? Let's go back down to the board again, eh? So as you will see, I've now got this little square with these clusters in either corner. Now, it's not essential to do this because it's not pattern constructing, but one of the things I like to do, so I hold these together more, and I haven't put this on the paper pattern that I made, is I'm going to go through, I'm basically weaving around all the sides. Now I'm sure you can see the benefit of this, because these little clusters are all separate clusters. By going up and through and around all of them, I'm now anchoring them more into the centre of the piece a bit better, and it just makes for a more robust piece of jewellery, which I have to say I rather like. You know, wouldn't it be dreadful if you were walking around somewhere and one of your sort of corners dropped off, so to speak? Perish the thought. Right, now, there we go. I've almost finished doing this, and because when I'm working to show you things, I don't have very long pieces of thread, I'm just going to pop another piece of thread onto this in order to show you the next part. So if you'll bear with me for a few seconds, go off and have a cup of cha. I'll be back with you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I hope you've had a nice little cup of cha, and apologies, profuse apologies for having to rethread my needle, but now I'm going to spill some of these rather divine beads that you'll find in your kit, which are a kind of a black diamond gold lined iridescent bead, which actually I have to tell you I love, because it seems to go with everything beautifully. So here we are. See, we've got our little square with our little 4 corners, we've got our ball here and our ball here, and that is very strategically placed for a reason. What we are now going to do is always bring the needle to the beads, as you might have heard me if you've watched or bought any of my other kits. We're going to pick up the Monty. Now, this Monty is a cross-backed Monty, so it's totally different from the others I've used in previous things, which are sew-ons. This is a sew-on too, but dependent on how you want to place your Monty is dependent on the type that I use for my designs. I'm going to pick up another 3 beads here, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go through this large pearl here, and I'm going to pull it round. Hold on, let's just pull a little bit more of the thread out. Now this thing will swivel until I put in the next row. So 1, 2, 3 beads here. I'm flipping that over. That's flipping good here. Oops. Do you know, it's not good, is it? Sometimes the old eyes are deceiving me. And I'm going to pull that around, which will suspend your Monty in the middle of all of these beautiful beads. And I'm going round here through the large pearl again until I come out to the other side of where I started. So can you see I started there and there and there and there, and now I'm going to put in a second row. It's getting very friendly, this cotton. Now you know why I don't choose to use, oh, there we go, one in the eye for the camera person here. Right, I don't choose to use hugely long pieces of thread, because you do have a tendency to get tangled up in them, and you can always put more thread in. So I'm now going to find the bottom of that, and I'll show you what happens after you've finished doing this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting 2 rows in. Yes, just check that your threads are going through the middle of the Monty rather than underneath it or beside it. And I'm going into the opposite side of the pearl with all of these rows, and it will help to bring your piece back into true, because sometimes it's quite easy for these little pieces where you've got a suspended diamante in the middle of them to go out of true and get rather wonky. And so by putting 2 rows in, it's a great way of keeping all 4 corners square. There we go. So what I now do is I get my needle and I flick underneath all of these bits here so that you can see that there are 2 rows. Can you see that? Underneath, do a little flicky thing coming upwards. and underneath, and a little flicky thing going upwards. And if you want to, for security purposes, you can go through all of these again. So there we go. You know me, I'm the reinforcer of all things beaded. There we go. And this is almost a finished piece, all right? So I will now just go through this pearl here once more. I'm going to go around all of these once more, and that is the main body of this piece done. Now what I'll show you once I finish this piece is how you continue on to make the bracelet. So in essence, the bracelet and the pendant are, I'm showing you how to make both of them at the same time. Hold on, I'm flicking that piece up again. Okay, I'm now going to just chop this piece out of the middle here with my super scissors. I'm going to move these pieces out of the way of my little beading runway. I'm going to bring my bails around, and I'm going to get my snipe nose pliers out. Where's my other pair of snipe? Here's my other pair of snipe nose pliers. And I'm just going to move this bail together a tiny bit so that when I pick this up, there's a hole in either side of this bead which is big enough to be good enough for the bail to go in. And this is actually a pinch bail, which means, as the thing may suggest, that you can pinch it on. So I've literally pinched that bail on, then I've used my pliers just to further secure it. So this is something that you have to do by eye, really. Just push the bail together a little bit, otherwise you're going to be faffing around here, a technical term you understand, trying to get your bail into these two holes forevermore, because you push it in on one side and it will pop out on the other side. So yeah, you might, sometimes the other way of doing it is holding it on one side and pushing it with the other, with your other finger. Hold on, let's just do that. There we go. Oops, no, it's whipped out again. Oh dear me. Right. You see, it does show you bails, it takes you 2 seconds to make the piece and 5 hours to fit the bail. Right, so the great thing about having a bail there and there now is it gives me a means of hanging other items off this. So, I mean, arguably you could wear that just one little piece as a bracelet, but I've chosen to put more pieces onto it, and I'll show you how in a minute. But let me finish off the necklace part first. So I'm going to get, and you get enough bails in the necklace to do this with. So now I'm going to get the pinch bail here. I'm going to pop it through here, bring it round in my fingers, pinch it together a tiny bit, and I'm going to get my rather beautiful pendant. And again, I pinch that onto the pendant there. I'm going to pop my gold chain onto the board, pick up a golden jump ring here, put that through here. My chain is done up. Always open your jump rings north to south, and quite simply I'm going to push that back together, turn it round, and here I have my lovely downtown pendant. Okay, it's rather special, isn't it? Now, what I'm going to show you next is how to build on that pendant. If you bought yourself the bracelet kit, you'll be wanting to know, how do I add the other modules along to that? And what I like to show you next is how you do precisely that thing. So if you'd like to bear with me, come back down to the board again. I'll show you how. Okay, So here's the ubiquitous, here's one I made earlier. I'm just going to very quickly put the Monty into this piece. And when you're making up the bracelet, you only, if you have the bracelet kit on its own, you will find that you only have 2 gold balls in it, and that's because you only need 2 gold balls for it. One to go one end and one to go the other. Although actually that's the same with a pendant kit, come to think about it. There we go. I'm just getting the other 3 to put in the other side here. I'm just turning it around. In fact, it helps sometimes, doesn't it, to recap on things that you've already seen. It stops you having to run your video backwards and forwards, or your YouTube site. Although actually I have to say YouTube is a magnificent facilitator for all of us crafters, isn't it? And all of us makers. In fact, I was trying to get my husband to do something practical the other day, which is often quite difficult because he's got a wonderful brain but lacks the ability to do anything practical. And I said to him, in fact, I'll let you into a secret, I wanted him to bleed my radiators, okay? I wanted him to bleed the radiators. And he said, oh, I don't know. They would say I have to ask my father, or I have to ask somebody else how to do this. And I thought, I'm not going to go and bleed the radiators as well. I do more than my fair share in the houses, as I'm sure you do, ladies, and indeed gentlemen out there. So I said to him, well, why don't you go and have a look on YouTube? That'll tell you how. So I think he did go and look on YouTube. God bless you, YouTube. You're really quite fantastic. You can learn how to do almost anything on that now. Right, okay, I have almost finished doing this little twiddly bit here. Right, I've put my 2 rows of beads to hold my Monty. Right, now I am going to go whip along here through my next pearl. What you have to do basically is, if you put your gold bead in here for your bracelet, can you see that? Okay, then you just have to retrace your steps. Either, I think I'm going to do it going up here because it's easier, because I've sewn these beads in to the pattern. Along here, down here. Actually, it's quite interesting because a lot of my designs are inspired by things I see around me. People often ask you as a designer, what made you make that? Things I see around me, television programs, eras. It's just ridiculous. I actually dream designs. Just before I wake up, I seem to dream things. Right, okay. We've got to that point. So what you want is that bit for your clasp, that side. And then you want to start off for your next one in the row, the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these 3 beads, and I'm going to, now if you've got a small wrist, you could do your next row starting off from here, as I have done. Here's one I made earlier, when I made an error when I was first designing this, okay? So I've gone from here directly onto here. But the actual design is to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Quite simply, you pick up 3 more beads. Oh, come back. You naughty bead. 2, 3 more beads like this. You go all the way around here, like this. And again, remember, reinforce, 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 around here again. Just like that. Who was it who used to say just like that? Oh, I know who it was. It was, oh God, the big chap with the fez on his head. And his name will come to me in a minute. And I'll suddenly blurt it out in the middle of some incredibly, that's right, Tommy Cooper it was, wasn't it? Right, okay. So really what you've done is you've done another piece of right angle weave here. Okay, I'm going to get my next 4 pearls, and I'm going to go, so you've already got your middle for one of them here, okay? So you're literally just going to pick up a pearl, and a beautiful iridescent green ball, a pearl, a beautiful iridescent green, a pearl, something beautiful again, one of these iridescent. They've now brought out some mauve iridescent pearls at Swarovski. I dare say I'll be having a little punt with those soon. And this one. And you start all over again. So you've gone around like this once. There we go. And again, in order to tighten it up a bit, I would recommend that you go all the way around again. It seems to me that, you know, the process of reinforcing also helps to keep the beads together. And in fact, if you are ever adding in a thread, which unless you like to use armfuls of thread, which is what I often see people recommending on YouTube, they say, you know, on some of these wonderful, talented websites that the Americans run, they say, I suggest that you get 5 yards of thread. And I think, oh God, if I worked with 5 yards, if I worked with 5 yards of thread, I would probably be strung up by, you know, the thread, you know, onto the rafters. It's really difficult working with 5 yards of thread because you get tangled in it. So work with a usable length of yarn, okay? Sorry to interrupt myself on this. Let's go back down again and I'll show you. Okay, so we've got our basic shape here again, and quite simply, most of these bracelets have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces in them. I need 5, but you know, you might need 6 of them. And you literally start doing the pattern that you made for the necklace all over again. And it's not until you get right down to the opposite end from that which you began with. So there we go, we've picked up our 3. So you only have to do it on 3 sides now because you have joined up, okay? So I'll just take you through this very quickly because it didn't take me very long, did it? And you literally repeat what you did for the pendant, except for you're not putting a pendant drop, a teardrop on the end of it because it's a bracelet. Let's state the absolute damned obvious, Kleshna. There we go, almost through here. Oopsie-doo-dah. There's a little rustling through in the other room there. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. Yum ba da ba da ba da. Little hum and little ho. So you've got all those 3 sides on there. Again, I would suggest that you go around it again, and then that you, in order to create again a more sort of secure piece of beading, go up here, along here, down here, through here. There we go. So just follow the outside thread path all the way around again, all the way down. Come on. I bet you, if you're beading like me, you'll be sort of talking to your thread and encouraging it to go into the correct places. You know, I found like I'm some sort of mad lunatic sometimes. I say, oh, come on. Rather like it's a badly behaved child or animal. There we go. Like that. And around here. And around and around and around we go. goes into here, whoop, up through the middle, and then we're ready just to put our next Monty on, okay? And so on and so forth. And then literally, it's a case of make the bracelet according to the length of your wrist. I haven't put magnetic clasps on the ones in the kit. I have actually put on a proper true lobster claw clasp for you to put on. But, you know, this is how it looks when it's finished. And there you have it, your beautiful downtown bracelet, all ready and made by you. Thank you for joining me again, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.